Namaste children and welcome back. I hope you all are doing fine, safe at home with your parents, and you're watching all the videos we teachers are sending you and you're able to understand everything what we are putting across to you. And today in EVS 1 class, we will start with a new chapter. Can you guess which chapter it is? Yes, it is chapter 3, Human Body, Skeletal and Nervous System. And today we will take up only the skeletal system part of the chapter. As you've already studied in the previous classes, what exactly is the skeletal system? Well, the skeletal system consists of bones and cartilage. Cartilage is the softer tissue that we have around us, in the bones, and the bones are the harder structures, right? It is made up of 206 bones. This also we had studied that the infant has more bones. Why? Because the bones have not yet fused, but as we grow, the bones fuse and we are left with 206 bones in an adult. Also called the skeleton. The skeletal system is also called the skeleton. It gives shape and support to the body. The exact shape of your face or your arms and other thing is given by the bones. The shape of the bones give the shape of your face. And also you're able to stand upright, sit, walk, etc. Support to the body is given by the skeletal system, right? Okay, so what are the functions of the skeletal system? It protects the soft internal organs. You have a very soft part, the most important part of your body called the brain. The brain is protected by the skull. You have two more important organs, your lungs and your heart. They are protected by the ribcage. Yes. It gives strength, support and shape to the body. It gives strength, support and shape to the body. We just discussed this. It helps in movement. You're able to walk, sit, stand because of the skeleton and the joints in the skeleton which help you to bend and move your body. It contains important minerals needed by our body. It has calcium, it has phosphorus, it has magnesium and other such minerals, and it is made from the minerals picking up from the body, and when the body has a deficiency, it again takes back a little bit from the bone and gives it back to the body. Many bones are hollow like those of the arms and legs. The thicker and the longer bones are hollow from inside. And basically the ones in the arm are the long and thin bones which are hollow from inside. The hollow bones are filled with bone marrow. It's a substance which is called the bone marrow. And what is the function of the bone marrow? The bone marrow produces the red blood cells. So you know you have red blood cells in your body. In the blood you have cells which are red in color. And these red blood cells have a limited lifespan of 3 months. So they need to be replaced. And from where will they come? They are produced by the bone marrow, and from there it is introduced into the bloodstream, and that is how your system works. So children, this is Smiley. He will be helping us today to learn more about the human skeleton in today's chapter. He has very graciously agreed to help us out today, and we will be coming to him back and forth to learn more about the skeleton. So Smiley, are you happy to be with us? Yes, he is, right? And he has nodded his head in agreement. So we will refer to Smiley off and on as and when we need, right? So let's see what are the main parts of the skeleton, and we will take up each part individually and discuss them. So the main parts of the skeletal system are the skull, the backbone, the rib cage and the limbs. Limbs means the arms and the legs. So first we will check out what the skull looks like. So this is Smiley's friend Baldy. For the skull, we have come back to Smiley's friend Baldy because Baldy shows us the features more clearly and better. So the human skull is made up of a total of 22 bones, out of which 14 bones are in the face and the remaining 8 bones are in the remaining part of the skull, right? So basically, if you see these crack-like structures in the skull, these are not cracks, right? These are joints of the bones. As I said, 8 bones make up the skull. So we have 8 pieces of bones like this joined up together, and these joints are called immovable joints because the bones cannot move in these joints, right? And the face also is made up of 14 bones. So you will see some joints in the face also. Yes, here you can see one joint. You can see one joint here. Over here you can see one joint. So these are all joints which are there in the face, and they are there because there are 14 bones in the face. Also, if you notice, there are holes in the skull where the nose or the eye should have been. Even for that matter, where the ears should have been, we have holes over here. And actually, there are tiny holes, other holes also. You can see this hole, you can see this hole. These are the places from where the nerves pass in and out from the brain to the rest of the body. To the face, maybe if you have let's say muscles in the face which feel things. So how does it go to the brain? Through nerves. The nerves have to enter from some place. There are some holes, plus other places like this. The nerves enter the body from the brain, the skull, and reach the brain through these holes. And we have 2 jaws in the face, one upper jaw and one lower jaw, right? And there are teeth in both the upper jaw and the lower jaw. But if you notice, I will show you only the lower jaw. Here, this is the lower jaw. Only the lower jaw in the whole skull, out of the 22 bones, is attached to the rest of the skulls of the skull by movable joints. At this point where it is attached, these 2 points which are attached to the rest of the skull here, yes, that is the only place from which they can move, and that is why you can move your lower jaw up and down, due to which you are able to speak, to talk, to eat, to chew. All these things are possible because this lower jaw actually does a up and down movement over here, right? Let's summarize. First of all, it protects the brain. 2, it is made up of 22 bones, 8 in the skull, 14 in the face. These bones are cemented together with immovable joints. You cannot move the bones at these joints. They are just fixed joints. It has holes where the eyes, nose, and ears are positioned. Only the lower jawbone can move. The rest of the bones cannot move. And the upper and the lower jaws have teeth in them, right? Okay. Next is the backbone. We are back, Smiley. I hope you did not miss us. Now we are back to look at your backbone. So we are back to look at your backbone. That's a nice pun. So we will have a look at your vertebral column also, it is called, and it is also called the backbone. It is made up of 33 small bones called the vertebrae. Starting from here till here, it's a series of 33 small bones stacked one on top of the other. And they are ring-like structures. These bones are ring-like structures and they're stacked one on top of the other. If we take a closer look, here you can see these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can see all these vertebrae lined, stacked one on top of the other. And in between are the cartilage discs. These are discs of cartilage which are placed in between each one of the vertebrae so that the bones don't rub against each other when we bend, move, etc. Right? And since they're ring-like structures, they will form a hollow central canal. Now it's not so visible here, so let's see if I can give you another view of the spinal cord. So this is just the spinal cord. We asked Smiley to let go of his spinal cord so that we could see it individually, and here you can see these are the cartilage discs in between, which are now much more clearly visible. And if we look, actually, this looks like a small S. See, it's curved like this. The S goes like this. shaped, curved like this, because this gives your body the shape. And if we look from the top, see, you can see this hollow place over here. From the top you can see, you can't see it through and through hollow. Why? Because the shape is like a S, but you can see part of the hollow here. If I turn it around the other way, you will be able to see the rest of the hollow also. See, this is the hollow portion. This is the lowermost vertebra and this is the hollow portion. And what passes through this hollow portion? It is your spinal cord. The spinal cord is the main nerve which goes from the brain to the rest of the body. And there are small nerves which come out from each joint, right? These joints, you have small bones which, small nerves which come out from these, and they pass on to different parts of your body, like maybe your neck, your arms, your fingers, your stomach, your lungs, your chest, and even down to your legs, right? So thank you, Mr. Smiley. We will be back to you once again when we have some more queries, but right now we will go back to our EVS 1 class. Thank you. Before we summarize, I would like to show you something more. See, I have a thin wire here, which you could call the spinal cord, and see, it is flexible. It can bend anyways, but I want to protect it, so I put it into a tube-like structure like this. And now what happens? I cannot bend it. This is a rigid structure. I cannot bend it. Now, if we had a backbone made of one single bone, we could not bend forward, backward, sideways, do anything. We would be always stiff and straight ramrod, which is not required. So what I have done is I have taken another piece of the straw and I have cut it into small pieces and threaded it into another piece of wire like this. Now you see, these are similar pieces, but I have them similar tube, but cut into smaller pieces. Now I can bend and backward, forward, anywhere I want, I can bend this. So this gives you the flexibility. Had the backbone been one single bone, we would not have the flexibility, but having 33 smaller bones gives us flexibility, right? So let's go back to now our class. And we now summarize the backbone, what we have seen. It is also called the vertebral column or the spine. It is made up of 33 small ring-shaped bones. 33 bones form the spine are called the vertebrae, singular vertebra, single vertebra, and many vertebra is called vertebrae. Multiple bones instead of a single bone help us to bend, twist, or turn. Spine helps in keeping the body upright. It protects the spinal cord inside, which connects the brain to the rest of the body. Yes, so now we go on to the next part, which is the rib cage. Hi Smiley, we are back, and this is Smiley's rib cage. So if you can see, it is actually like a cage-like structure closed from all sides, and it is made up of these bones called ribs. That is why we call it the rib cage. And actually look from inside, it is hollow from inside. And what sits here? The heart and the lungs. So they are our vital organs. If they are damaged, we can die. So nature's protection for our heart and our lungs. Now the rib cage is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and if we turn 11 and 12, 12 bones on one side and another 12 bones on the other side. That is 12 pairs of ribs. Now if we turn back and go back, see, each rib is attached to a vertebra. 12 vertebrae and 12 ribs are attached to 12 different vertebrae. So all 12 are attached at the back to the backbone. But at the front, as you can see, two are not attached. These are called the floating ribs. And the remaining 10 pairs are attached to a central bone in the front, which we call the breastbone or the sternum. And if you want, you can actually feel your sternum. If you press at the center of your chest, you can feel a hard bone over here, and that is your breastbone or the sternum. It is also called the sternum. So these 10 pairs of bones are attached to the sternum. But if you can see, there is a small joint-like thing you can see over here. So actually this all is cartilage. And why the cartilage is there? Why does the bone not come and join directly to the bone? Because then it would become a very rigid structure. But when you put your hand on your chest and you breathe in, your lungs expand. So you need more space inside the rib cage. The rib cage also expands. So how can it expand? Only if it has cartilage over here. The ribs don't directly go and join to the sternum, but they are joined to this cartilage structure, which further joins to the sternum, and this gives it an expandability. It can expand and contract as you breathe in and you breathe out, right? So basically this is what our rib cage is, made up of 12 pairs of bones, all 12 joined at the back side, but only 10 joined to the center in the front to the breastbone or the sternum, and it is a hollow structure which protects the heart and the lungs from external damage, right? So thanks, Smiley. Learned in the video. It is basically that the frame of bones that form a cage-like structure in the chest area. The rib cage is a frame of bones, a number of bones which forms a structure or a framework like a cage. It protects the heart and the lungs. It is made up of 12 pairs, that is total 24 long curved bones called the ribs. Each is called a rib, and there are 12 pairs, one on each side. So 2 makes a pair, right? Ribs, all 12 pairs join to the backbone at the back side, but on the front side, only 10 pairs join to the breastbone or the sternum. The last 2 pairs that do not attach to the sternum are called the floating ribs. Yes, and now last but not the least, we go to the limbs. So we come back today for the last time to Smiley to look at his arms and legs. Now we have a pair of upper limbs or the forelimbs and a pair of hind limbs or the lower limbs. Since we started walking upright, we call them the upper and the lower limbs. But if you compare when we were walking on all fours, then these 2 were in front and these 2 were behind. That is why from the before we get forelimbs and from behind we get the hind limbs. So these are called the forelimbs and these are called the hind limbs. Now let's look at the structure of the forelimbs and the hind limbs. I'll zoom in closer for you to have a look. And if you can see, we have one single bone in the upper arm, which is called the humerus. Humerus. There is not OUS. It is not the funny humerus, it is HUMERUS. So, and here, this is your joint, which is also the elbow. And because of this joint, you are able to bend your arm and move it up and down. So the upper arm has one single thick bone. The forearm or the front arm has 2 thinner bones, right? Which further go and end up into the hand. Now we'll zoom into the hand and you can see you have a number of bones in the hand. Here, see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 fours are 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 in the fingers itself, and then fingers, and this is the palm area. These are the fingers, this is the palm area, and this is the wrist. The wrist further has 8 more bones, right? And that is why these are small tiny bones which slip and slide over each other, due to which your wrist has such a smooth movement. It can move in any direction. So the hand, one single hand, has a total of 27 bones. That's a lot of bones, right? And similarly, the other hand also has 27 bones. So 27, 28, 29, 30. Two in the arm here and one at the top. So you have a total of 30 bones in one arm and 30 bones in the other arm. 27 in the hand and another 3 in the arms. Now let's move down to the lower limbs. Here again, you have one thick bone at the top, at the thigh. Where you have your thigh, you have one thick bone which is called the femur. It's also called the thigh bone or the femur. The femur bone is the biggest bone in the human body. Biggest and the longest and the strongest bone in the human body. And after that, this is your kneecap. You touch your knees, you feel a round blob-like structure on top of your knees. This is that kneecap. And again, you have two thinner bones. As compared to femur, they are thinner. So you have two bones in your lower leg. And then in the foot, again, you have a number of bones. If you again would count, this is 26 bones in the foot. So 26 in one foot, 26 in the other foot. So again, the lower leg would have 30 bones, 26, 27, 28, 29 and 30. 30 bones in the lower leg, 30 bones in the second lower leg, right? So this was the structure of our forelimbs and hind limbs. And now for today, for today's class, we say a final goodbye to Smiley, but we will visit him again in the next class, right? Bye-bye, Smiley. The limbs, what we saw, our body has a pair of arms called forelimbs, and our body has a pair of legs which are called the hind limbs. The long bone in the upper arm is called the humerus. Here you check out the spelling, Humerus. There is no O here, right? And the thigh bone is called the femur. Some people pronounce it as femur also. Both are correct. It is the longest bone in the human body. Feet and hands are made up of a number of small bones, 27 in each hand and 26 in each foot to be exact. Yes. And with that, we come to today's end of today's chapter. I hope you enjoyed looking at the skeleton, meeting Smiley and seeing all the bones in Smiley. I hope you've understood everything. If you have a doubt or a query, we have shared an email address, bhavansebs1@gmail.com. If you have any doubts, any queries, please send your queries in over there and we will cover them in the next video we send to you if you have any doubts. Yes. And along with this video, I'll be sending the link or a document for some question answers also. Those you will write down in your notebook. And that's all for now. Stay safe and a big bye-bye from Abhavan.